Turns out that when your home becomes an office, hair salon, cocktail bar, yoga studio, and fifth grade classroom all at once, you can go a little crazy. But home is all we had. So as we start to leave our homes and return to the big wide world we've dearly missed, the stuff we once took for granted will never feel sweeter. Vacations, birthday parties, dinner reservations, late nights with friends, and hugs with grandma. But maybe when we head back home after a nice full day, we'll also have a deeper appreciation for the place that kept our loved ones safe, where creativity and resilience blossomed, and where we only had to look presentable from the waist up. Because for 114 years, we've believed that everyone deserves a home. And we know that when home is all you have, you certainly have a whole lot.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We would like to welcome Ryan Gorman, who's President and CEO of Coldwell Banker. He is joining us this morning, and we're very excited that he can be here with us today. So Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and you'll be able to take over.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. Greetings, everyone. First, let me just check. Can you hear me okay?
We sure can.
Excellent. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you all today. I am hopefully everything will go well with audio and visual. I just apologize in advance. My family informed me the other day that it's been almost 2 years since we took a family vacation. So I don't think I'm up for Father of the Year this year, but we decided to steal away a couple of days here when the kids are off. So I'm in an Airbnb that advertised really fast Wi-Fi, and I'm sure that was true when this town was founded, but it's not necessarily the fastest Wi-Fi I've seen to date. So I appreciate you bearing with me if I have a little bit of an issue. I want to cover a lot of ground here, but hopefully we'll have a good conversation. I first want to just say I do. Just so we're not interrupting proceedings here, I did ask that the vote counting be paused for the balance of the meeting this morning, so we can all just really focus and kind of keep any of the media at bay. But I can't help but say that I feel a little badly for a lot of the politicians who ran. I mean, it's not bad enough that half of them are going to lose the races for which they ran, but for this week to be so overshadowed by the Schmidt family of companies meeting. When they were hoping that this would be their moment in the sun, the politicians and their staff and everything, but all I've heard about all week was this meeting. So I feel a little bit badly for them, but it's only rightly so, because you are the best. You are the best. You are the biggest. I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of this today. You've heard about this before, but you're number one in so very many ways. You serve more markets, more diverse markets, more varied markets, and more communities and families, virtually anyone else in the entire Coldwell Banker system, which is a phenomenal credit to all of you. Really exceptional work. And in addition to, I don't want to spoil any surprises, so I won't say what I think your production is going to be for this year, but it's many billions of dollars. You do it the hard way too. You do it in units. You do it with individual transactions, with individual families. It is absolutely remarkable what you're doing, and extremely impressive. I mean, there are months where you're probably getting close to 2,000 transactions in a given year, which is in a given month, which is absolutely exceptional. And there's a story and a journey with every single one of those transactions, which I so deeply appreciate. I thank you all for the work that you're doing. It's incredibly important, honestly, to truly setting aside any kind of biases that I might have for the industry. I really do believe that if we take a step back and focus on your work, the work that you actually do every single day, it is incredibly impactful. You're helping families throughout all of your communities to move in or move on, each of which is equally important to them. Monumental life changes for them that you are enabling, especially right now, right? So we're in a period of time where uncertainty is, I hate to use the word unprecedented because it truly is unprecedented, but I feel like that word's been overused in 2020. But those are the times in which we live. So there's not a lot of certainty, and what you are bringing is certainty. You're bringing your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, your calm, your trust, your confidence. You're bringing all of that to your clients because of you personally, because of the Schmidt family of companies and the support that they bring, the entire organization brings to you. You know, somewhere in the company, everyone has seen it all, done it all. Everyone has your back and has your clients' back, and you bring that. You convey that sentiment, that emotion to your clients at a time where they really so desperately need it. You really are truly instilling confidence in these families that you're serving every single day, and it's a privilege for us at Coldwell Banker to even be a small part of your success and that comfort that you bring to those families. And it truly is now more than ever. I feel like that everything that I just outlined, whether it's confidence or calm, is in dramatically short supply right now. Supply about as short as the inventory in many of our markets, and you're bringing both of those two things to the equation. So I really appreciate it. What you're delivering is a pure good. Not many industries can say that, and frankly, only the best and the most high integrity firms and individuals in our industry can say that too. You are among them. You truly are bringing and delivering a pure good. And this is a moment when I think consumers know that they really can't rely on past practices, past transactions, or conventional wisdom to guide them. I think there's a really heightened awareness and a sense of that. So they really need you. They need a guide more than ever before. Even those who are relatively experienced in the transactions know that they've never experienced a market anything like this. And they know very much that they need you. In fact, conventional wisdom, I would say, was telling us a few come to pass. So for one, we thought globally that people would be frozen in place, that this is a pandemic like no one has experienced before, so people would be frozen and paused where they were. Not so much. We'll get into that. We thought perhaps there was a risk that foreclosures would glut the inventory in the markets. You may recall early on, I was saying, and Coldwell Banker was saying, that we did not think that would come to pass for a lot of really good reasons having to do with the fundamentals of underwriting prior to the pandemic, the amount of equity in homes, and a lot of the other trends that we saw. But prevailing wisdom was that we were going to see a glut of foreclosures. We'll talk about what actually happened. Also, the thought was that the high end would suffer the most. A reasonable expectation, and it's the exact opposite of what we've actually seen come to pass. These are the kinds of things that are floating around in consumers' minds and in the headlines, making them keenly aware that they really do need a trusted advisor right now. Also, we saw tons of headlines talking about how especially mortgage servicers were really getting squeezed with some of the foreclosure advances, and the credit would tighten and mortgage companies would really hunker down. We've seen the opposite there. We'll talk about that as well. Pre-pandemic conventional wisdom was pretty significant as well. So if you can remember a time before COVID-19, I can vaguely, it's a little fuzzy now, but I can recall that time. At the time, young people and empty nesters were anticipated to be flocking to cities in massive numbers. In fact, leaving behind large suburban houses and the suburbs more generally, except for a really tight commuting corridor, was the prevailing wisdom. And really some of those larger houses in perhaps the slightly more distant suburbs were really past their prime. Remember, that's what the conversation was even earlier this calendar year. The talk was also of affordability being the biggest issue that we would face in some of our strongest markets and many of the hottest markets. And we were talking about, not we, but in general, headlines were talking about, hey, do people really need real estate agents anymore with all the technology and information out there? Do people really need real estate agents? Well, That question has been resoundingly and affirmatively answered, I would say, in 2020 more than ever before. So the number's not all in, and in our conversations with NAR, we can't disclose all of the information that we necessarily see, but it seems as though real estate agents, which have been growing share, real estate agents being involved in more and more transactions every year, has really taken off to a whole new level here in 2020. So a lot of the value that people thought was maybe ebbing from our industry has been very strongly restored in 2020. I've had an expression that I often say that the inevitable almost never happens. I give lots of examples of how that's been true in our industry and beyond our industry, but I don't really need many more examples than we've had just in 2020. So right now, if you think of all that conventional wisdom I just walked through, we're actually getting back to sort of pre-2004 home tenure levels. We're getting back to a place where people are trading out of their properties at about the rate that we had seen for about 50 to 60 years prior to that. Remember, after the last downturn, we elongated how much time people were spending in their homes, and it looks like we're reversing course. We'll talk about why that's a fundamental good for a whole lot of reasons here in a second. Foreclosures are also held at bay, not just by temporary prohibitions, but also by a hot market, right? So that makes all the difference in the world when we see inventory constraints. Even the bank's movement toward foreclosure, the individuals who are falling behind on their mortgages, they have so many more options. In many cases, maybe they started a conversation around a short sale that's ended in them leaving the home with equity in their pocket, right? So it's a very, very good thing that a hot market can help us with. Inventory is non-existent, and pre-pandemic, we were talking about inventory was tight, and we thought that's what was holding back the market. It's a really interesting thing, though. Ryan Schneider, Realogy's CEO, and someone I hang out with a lot, he is actually a classically trained economist, and he highlighted something. He came to our industry from outside the industry, and he said, you guys talk about inventory all the time, but we're doing more transactions right now than ever before in some of these markets. So why is it that inventory is really constrained? Maybe we need to rethink, now that we have days on market that's less than 3 weeks across the country. We have some markets where days on market is measured in days, and not just the traditionally hottest markets. Maybe we need to think differently about inventory. We certainly need inventory to come on the market, higher sales prices, and more opportunity for people to be able to maybe work partially or wholly remotely. We'll talk about that, and get more inventory on the market. And yet you all are finding a way to get people into homes, even when it seems almost as though the homes are not there for them to buy. You're finding a way. And we're also seeing the high end absolutely take off. So typically what we're seeing right now is not the classic high end of the move up high end buyer. We're actually seeing a lot of folks who are retaining their existing property and buying another property, perhaps in another location where maybe they want to work remotely a little bit more, or they finally say, you know what, we never thought we could be in that vacation destination enough to justify the purchase, but now that I can work remotely a little bit, maybe we are going to purchase that home and work from it. Back in their original destination or their original location, rather than selling and entirely moving, we're seeing a lot of folks who are either retaining that home or downsizing the home where they were, which means we're creating that's 3 different transactions that were facilitated by individuals who just had a little bit greater confidence in their ability to utilize a vacation home a little bit more than they were before. So that's pretty exceptional that we're able to create that number of transactions. There's some fundamental goods that we'll talk about there as well. Mortgage rates are at historic lows, which is just crazy. I mean, if you had asked me not too long ago how low they could go, it would not have even been as low as they are today. I probably would have said, 3% is kind of a floor. Mortgage companies do have some fixed costs that they need to amortize, but the competitive environment right now for purchase money transactions is so strong that we're actually seeing mortgage companies' margins improve while lowering rates, which is pretty exceptional. And of course, the Fed is helping there in a pretty big way. We're also seeing young people and empty nesters flocking to areas with more space, indoor and outdoor space, a reversal of a prior trend where the conversation was around people being willing to give up space and give up outdoor space in order to be closer into some of these tighter urban communities. I am not writing off the city. I'm a big city guy. I think the city is definitely here to stay, but I also think a lot of the prior conversation was simply overblown. It was not true that people were going to abandon a suburban lifestyle that really works for so many families and has for generations. And I think we're seeing that come to pass now. Everyone wants more indoor and outdoor space, whether it's for a home office or for home schooling. or for what I'm referring to as home sanity. There are a whole lot of people who thought the size of their home worked well until they were trapped in it with their entire family, and now maybe they need just a little bit more space, a little bit different layout. I don't think the death of the open concept is necessarily here, as some have predicted, but I do think people are looking for doors that close and walls in a little bit greater numbers than they were before. So that does mean, I think, that not only are the builders getting busy at a level of home that was not necessarily in their highest quartile before. There were a lot of people who were building only on the higher end and now looking to build sort of trade up homes that have a little bit different layout, because people's willingness to pay for that additional square footage and their willingness to commute further, as they can maybe commute fewer days a week, even if it's a little bit further each time they commute, is increasing. So that's really good news for the builders. We definitely need inventory. We're not replacing even homes that are flooded or burned down or become functionally obsolete as quickly as we need to in this country. So we do need the builders to start swinging hammers. That also helps the economy and provides jobs, which is a good thing all around. I think Zoom work and that partial remote experience is also opening up new opportunities. So we talked before about affordability and the affordability crisis being most acute in places like Silicon Valley, LA, New York City, Chicago, et cetera. What we're seeing today is that folks in those areas are able to either commute further and say, you know what, I'm not sure when I'm going to be back in the office, but my employer has told me that even when we are back in the office, I may only need to be there perhaps 2 days a week. And maybe I'm willing to do a longer commute 2 days a week for more affordability, a little bit larger space, maybe the ability to relocate with more family members in another location. So that's actually increasing affordability because people are increasing the radius around which they're looking. It's an interesting thing that Coldwell Banker was early to spot, and we've had a lot of conversations with some of the national media around this. And it's a funny thing, when we started talking about it, people didn't really buy it, and it seemed counterintuitive that affordability would increase while prices are going up as well. But now all the conversations I have with reporters, they're saying, you know, it's a funny thing you say that because that's actually me. I'm doing that. You know, you're talking about people are doing this, but I personally am actually doing exactly what you just outlined. And that's great because that's what you all are telling us, is that you're hearing from many of your clients as well. And, you know, finally, I'd say everyone actually is coming into a very, very real understanding that they need a great agent with a trusted firm and the right tools. So we're also seeing acceleration of a few other trends that existed pre-pandemic as well, right? So multi-generational housing needs and people desiring to relocate with multi-generations in the family, in the household, perhaps with separated homes or in homes nearby. We're seeing that continue to increase. It's no longer as comfortable to say we're going to get on a plane to go visit grandma, and now maybe we're actually thinking about relocating together, especially as people are thinking about some of those attractive tax and weather destinations. So some of the, like, for instance, I live outside of New York City. A lot of my neighbors are thinking about perhaps buying a second home that could become their primary home in some areas that have a little bit better weather for them, maybe a few years earlier than they had been anticipating retiring or quasi-retiring. And some of them are doing so for tax reasons too. I do anticipate some states will need to think about revising their approaches to some of the taxation elements that they're seeing as they see some of these population shifts. In, for instance, the Northeast and areas of the Midwest, we're seeing that as well. We're also seeing a rediscovery of a lot of the amenities that were long valued in the American residential housing experience, the actual communities and downtowns. We talk about walkable downtowns. It's a funny thing. It's not new. Walkable downtowns have been around forever. People have always valued that. There was a period of time where people prioritized affordability and space over that walkable downtown, but now that happy medium is really coming into play. I like to see that because post-pandemic, I think what we're going to see is more small businesses be able to initiate and operate in some of these downtowns as people try to take greater advantage of the new places where they're calling home. And again, that trusted advisor, I think, is more important than ever for those family decisions. So then you think about what is going to take place in 2021. To what do we have to look forward next year? I always caveat this by saying I have no idea. I'm sure there's a whole army of lawyers who are glad that I say that, but I say that because it is true. I really don't know, but I do know some of the fundamentals that I see today are probably going to continue to be strong into 21. They really are not changing. And frankly, I don't need to go much farther than all of you. The information that you're giving me, the conversations that you're having with your clients that you convey to me is very, very impactful. And some of those fundamentals that I think will remain strong, NAR is pointing to some of these things now as well in our continued conversation. are more favorable in either tax or whether or both, I think continue to draw people in. And that's kind of good for some markets and bad for others in theory, but really what it does is opens up opportunity. It allows people to be able to shift where they live and allows other people to come into those same communities that they're departing. We do have overall to see home ownership growth, which means even if you're in one of these markets like I am, where it's not necessarily the most favorable tax or weather climate, that does not mean that your housing market or your local economy cannot remain strong. It does mean that we're going to see increased turn. People get where they want to be, and we can help them get there. It tends to be a very good thing. I do think that home ownership increase will also be attached to that enabling of indoor and outdoor space needs. So many of the rental properties and multifamily rentals were not built in such a way, especially the new high quality multifamily inventory that came on in the last 15 years. They were not built to prioritize outdoor space. They were certainly not built to prioritize home ownership and some of the financial stability that comes with that. They weren't necessarily built to prioritize indoor space either because of the lean into that open concept. So some of these home office creations and homeschooling creations are really not possible in that multifamily space. That's the best reason why people are thinking about home ownership who were previously thinking that they were smart to rent. They actually need a product available to them in that rental space, which is a really great, fundamentally strong reason why I have a lot of faith that 2021 is going to look good for us. Finally, the multi-generational family needs, I think it's a very real thing. I think while many people may be a little bit sick of the family that they're sheltered with, I think a lot of people have come to realize how, one, important it is for them and their children to be closer to extended family. Two, how difficult it is to double bubble or to be able to safely interact with some especially older family members during a pandemic. But three, how possible it may be now that they're able to commute a little bit remotely or to be able to commute a little bit less each week. It might be even more possible for them to relocate closer to where their extended family is, or what we're seeing a lot of, I'm sure you're seeing it too, entire families relocating. So multiple purchase transactions, multiple sale transactions from different parts of the country into a destination that they all want to now call home in the future. I do think that multi-generational trend will absolutely continue. And then we asked about what's in store for Coldwell Banker as we move forward. Well, first of all, I think of Coldwell Banker as really a platform for you. We are truly in the most entrepreneurial industry in the entire country. I know it probably seems like I'm biased when I say that, but it's just true. Think about everyone who's involved in every real estate transaction. Not only do we have each of you an independent business owner, but we also have all of those who surround it. The contractor who comes in to take care of something that's found during inspection, those who are maintaining the house and the lawn are usually small business owners. Even the appraisers who show up are probably operating small businesses of their own. The individual attorneys who are involved in the transaction are typically solo practitioners or members of small firms. The accountants who are supporting you as well as your clients are oftentimes independent. And I can go on and on, but this truly is an incredibly entrepreneurial sector. And I think of Coldwell Banker as enabling each of your businesses. We are the platform on which we want you to grow your business. So as I think about Coldwell Banker as we move forward, enabling that entrepreneurship, our open ecosystem is going to become even more crucial. So when I say open ecosystem, I mean there are tools that the Schmidt family of companies provide to each of you. In some of your markets, there are likely tools that your MLSs or local boards may provide to you or discount for you. There are tools that Coldwell Banker provides to you. That's all a good thing. It can be at times a little bit overwhelming, and it can pose sometimes some integration challenges. With our lean hard into an open ecosystem, we're going to be very, very focused on some of those integrations. Make sure that the experience that's created by the tools that you choose to use is really seamless. Seamlessness is what we're going for. Like when you get a new iPhone and you fire it up and download everything before, and it feels like you upgraded your equipment. You didn't have to learn everything new. That's really what we're going for. You're starting to see a little bit of that with some of what we're doing. For instance, the introduction of Desk, with things like Moxie Present rollout that integrates CBX that many of you have been using. That sort of consumer-facing experience. You're going to see more of that with more consumer-facing experiences that we make available to you. Many people have asked us over time, well, is Coldwell Banker thinking about going direct to the consumer? In my view, consumers need you, but we need to supply you with what you can deliver to consumers. So we enable a Schmidt family of companies and each of you to be able to deliver more and more value to your consumers. I think a lot of companies incorrectly enter this industry and think, you know what, we're going to go directly to the consumer, we're going to cut out the middleman, and we're going to deliver a better experience. The reason why they continue to fail time and time again, there are some today who are saying they're succeeding because they're losing massive amounts of money on every transaction, and that's what the cool kids do. But I can tell you they are not succeeding by any metric that makes sense. The reason why is because they really do need you. So if we can enable you and supply you with more consumer-facing value, then we will all win together, especially your clients. The key performance indicators or KPIs that we look at for a number of our products today are really all about things like the average broker commission rate. So if you are in a listing presentation and that listing presentation concludes with you being retained to list that property at a robust commission rate, really you earning what you should in that transaction, that means you were able to convey your value to that seller in a way that they understood the value they'd be receiving is far greater than the fee that they would be paying. So when we introduce new products and services and tools, we pay close attention to exactly that. What level of confidence were you able to convey? What level of clarity and value were you able to convey to the seller, and how did that manifest itself in the fee that you earned? And I mean it, earned in that transaction. A lot of people talk in theory about real estate commissions. You know what actually goes into it, and your clients greatly appreciate it. So if we can enable you to tell that story better and more successfully and deliver that value in a more tangible way, it will net result better for everyone. Sell homes at a higher price in a shorter period of time and generate the kind of commissions that you absolutely deserve. So we focus on your commission rate, your production, as well as the time and cost savings, which is a little bit harder to measure, but we have relatively robust tools to do that. If we're saving you time and money, we're helping you earn your full commission, and we're overall driving your production, then we are succeeding. And that's how we partner with the Schmidt family of companies every day, and how we'll partner with you even more. So 2021, really all about execution and improvement for Coldwell Banker. You've seen a lot of our announcements in 2020. We'll execute and roll out some of those things in 2021. There's not 100 new things coming. There really is incremental and powerful improvements and integrations that we're going to focus on in 2021. I also think 2021 will be a year of growth for each of you and for Coldwell Banker. We're really going to focus on ensuring that we are serving more communities than ever before. Your individual market share in your farming community. Schmidt family of companies' overall market share in the communities of focus for the company, and Coldwell Banker's overall share. This is how we measure how many families we're able to serve. And that is really our measure for success. I personally believe that home ownership is an enormous opportunity. It brings financial stability and wealth creation. There are so many intangibles that it brings as well that you all know all too well. And equality of opportunity, bringing that opportunity to even more is incredibly crucial to me. So I think the single best way to grow family financial security is through home ownership. I also think the single best way for more people not been able to achieve home ownership before, to step into it, to understand what it means and understand what programs are available to them, is by partnering with a real estate professional like you. That is the single best way. I talk to government officials all the time about this, and they ask about how they can create more opportunity for home ownership with those who have been underserved in the past. And I point to you. So with the right advisor who can help someone understand what homeownership means and what programs and products might be available to them, anyone can step into homeownership, and you all make that possible. So it's absolutely our focus. And again, I think you are delivering a pure good. If you can say that, you absolutely can. So I just want to wrap up by saying thank you, congratulations, and you're going to own 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ryan. We really appreciate your time.
Oh, I appreciate it. This is fantastic. It's the hottest ticket in town. It's a big get for me.
You do have Michigan, Ohio, Florida, and USVI joining you today, so you have quite the group here.
That is awesome. We are really covering the globe. That is absolutely fantastic. I would love to visit every one of those locations, though we should time it seasonally.
Absolutely. Most people like to start with St. Croix. Can't say I blame them. It's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining, and best wishes. Take care.
Bye now.
Building your website and managing your social media can be a big task. Creating campaigns, trying to generate leads, and working on search engine optimization can become overwhelming very quickly. That's why we're excited to introduce our digital accelerator packages, a hands-off approach to your marketing. Led by Peter Hopkins, our digital marketing specialist, and the rest of the marketing group, these packages help manage and execute on running your website and building your social media presence through brand reputation and generating lead opportunities for you. These packages are available through schmidtresources.com, and all you have to do is sign up, have a consultation with Peter, and then you're off to the races. Go to schmidtresources.com and click on the Digital Accelerator Packages square. It's right on the main page of each region.
Well, we have Alicia Brody from BombBomb with us now. So please welcome her. And Alicia, I'll let you go ahead and share your screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here with you guys. Let me just get my screen share up here. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alicia. I'm the national speaker at BombBomb, and I actually have been out to your events before. I've got a dog in the background wanting to go outside. It's real world working from home. So my job at BombBomb is really kind of an evangelist. And part of the reason why I'm such a good evangelist is that I believe in this product so strongly. I've used it as a sales professional before in this role as national speaker. I've been national speaker for the last about 2 years. And up until recently, I was traveling all over the US and Canada, and I get to hear success stories of realtors just like you, as well as people in other industries that are leveraging the power of simple video to get face-to-face more often, rehumanize their communication, build better relationships, maintain relationships. And this is why it's helping people's business grow. So we're just going to talk for a few minutes this morning about the why this is so effective, and then I'm going to give you guys a strategy to take away with today. I heard that your focus this year is on getting listings, so I'm going to share with you a strategy that is getting incredible results for some of our clients. But my question for you first is, if you got face-to-face with more people more often, would you create and close more deals? Right? I want you to think about that. How many times a year do you cancel a face-to-face meeting with a client, or in these days, perhaps a Zoom meeting, right? You don't do that because you know your best chance at converting that client, that prospect into a client, getting that listing, whatever it is, building that relationship is going to happen if you can get face-to-face with them. So video is not about video. Video is really about getting you face-to-face more often. Video just so happens to be the medium that's going to help you connect most effectively with people. Now, we've seen a massive shift in video usage over the last 7-8 months out of necessity, but there's a few different kinds of video. So there's live synchronous video, which is what we're all doing right now. You showed up at a certain time. I'm speaking to you right now at this moment while you're watching me. Save any technical delays that are giving you lag on your end. And this is a really powerful tool to overcome distance when you can't be together with someone, but it doesn't overcome the time piece. You still have to meet at the same time. You also have to have a certain amount of trust with someone before they're going to agree to get on a live synchronous video call with you. So there's a benefit to that, but that's not really what I want to show you guys. There's also marketing through video, which is a really important piece of your business. This is your Facebook Lives, your listing videos, your Facebook open houses, your professionally produced content, your website content, YouTube. This is all really public-facing stuff, which is an important piece of your business. However, this requires time and scheduling and budget and expertise. And that also is not what we're talking about here with simple video for building relationships, rehumanizing your business. if you're not familiar with BombBomb, what we're really is to get you face-to-face more often, right? I asked you that question. If you could get face-to-face with more people, would you close more deals? Would you create more deals? And I know that you know that the answer is yes. And the powerful thing about this kind of video is that it doesn't require any special equipment. You're using the tools you're already using on a regular basis, your laptop, your phone. And this is what we call asynchronous video. You record it when it makes sense for you. You send it off to a client. They get to watch it when it makes sense for them. So you're overcoming the distance of not being able to get face-to-face with them. You're overcoming the time of not necessarily being able to get that client on the phone or get them on a video call. And there are so many ways that agents and brokers and trainers are using BombBomb, but we're only going to talk about one strategy today, and we have tons more resources if you want. But the last thing that I want to leave you with is how important the power of faces are. So these are my 3 children and 2 dogs in that one that you can see there. I could tell you that I have 3 kids. You could think, oh yeah, she's a parent, but you're not going to have the same kind of connection to me or my family as if showing you the faces. Faces are really, really persuasive. So Professor Richard Wiseman, he is a professor in the UK, and he did a research study that they call the Lost Wallet Study. And basically what they did is he and his research team dropped wallets all over the city of Edinburgh, Scotland. Now, all of the wallets were not the same. Some of the wallets had baby pictures in them. Some of them had pictures of families. Some of them had pictures of puppies in them. Some of the wallets had 0 pictures in them, okay? So I'm going to read these stats because I want to make sure I get them right for you. The wallets that had baby pictures in them were returned 88% of the time. The wallets that had puppies in them were returned 53% of the time. The wallets that had family portraits were returned 48% of the time. And the wallets that had no pictures in them were only returned about 15% of the time. We're able to recognize humanity in people's faces. It's hardwired into the way that we communicate, into the way we've evolved, and the way communication has evolved. The power of what BombBomb is doing for you is it's taking the regular communication that you would do with a prospect or a client or a past client, and it's supercharging it by putting you back into that communication, whether it's over email or text, because faces are persuasive. And I want you to think about this as I show you this strategy to help you get more listings, because you could send out market data to a client kind of in the same way that I'm showing you, but the power of this strategy is that it combines your absolute best sales asset, which is you, with a tool that's easy to use and easily consumable for your clients. So this is the strategy that I'm going to leave you with today. And this is what we call a personal market update or an unsolicited CMA. So this is my friend, Jimmy Burgess, and Jimmy Burgess is a BombBomb client. And I'm going to tell you about what he did and his strategy, and then we'll just talk through it. So basically what Jimmy did is Jimmy was trying to think of a way to get some more listings, right? To inject some energy into his past client database. And so we call these unsolicited CMAs because he's not sending these out to clients that said they're thinking about listing. He went ahead and worked through his database. So what Jimmy did is he committed to himself that every single day for 90 days, he was going to send one of these off to the client. So what he is, he's using the BombBomb screen recorder. He uses Google Earth to kind of give some perception there of where he's talking about or showing their business, their condo location. But this is also a really powerful way to capture a client's attention. Then he just toggles right over to the MLS and he's able to go through some of that MLS data for them. Now, this is so effective for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's personal. If you send out market updates and stats to your clients, my guess, my very well educated and experienced guess is that you don't get a ton of responses from those because it's not personal, right? I'm a consumer. I am not a real estate agent. When I get general market data, I kind of skip over it, right? Because it's not relevant to me precisely and my home and my investment. So the first reason why this is so powerful is because it's personal to them. He's showing them what's happening with their home. The second reason why this is so effective is that no one is put on the spot. He's not calling up his clients and saying, hey, are you interested in having a conversation about maybe what the value of your home is right now? No. This is asynchronous. He records it on his time. He sends it off to that client and they get to watch it on their own time. They get to consume the information. They get to think about. They get to send it to their spouse and say, hey, look what Jimmy just sent us. We should talk about this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and play the video for you so that you can see how this works.
Hey, Carrie, it's Jimmy Burgess. Hope you're doing well. Wanted to give you an update on what's been going on at Adagio. We've had some changes there. So let me just kind of pull this in here and kind of get you to a place where you can really kind of see a little better exactly what we're looking at as far as in Adagio right now. One of the things, I'm pretty sure you know this, but A, B, C, D, E, F, G, as far as the building numbers. And so what I want to do is I want to come in here and talk specifically about some of these that have sold recently in the last year to give you an update on your value to get you a better feel for where we are. So what I did is I just kind of broke down, obviously the ones that are off the water are going to be the ones south of $1 million. The ones on the Gulf are going to be the ones that were this higher price. So I'm really focusing on your place here to give you an idea. So if we're looking at this, basically with you being in building F.
So the other reason why this is so effective is because Jimmy is the person delivering that data. Right? Like I said, faces are persuasive. We can connect to faces and humans in a way that we could never connect to data. If Jimmy had just sent off a market report of perhaps what they could sell their property for, he would not get the same kind of engagement as he's getting from he being the person that's presenting that information, bringing them that data as the expert, as someone who's invested in their success. And let me just tell you what happened for Jimmy. Jimmy did one a day for 90 days. He just committed himself. One a day, 90 days. And at the end of that 90 days, he had generated $11 million in listings. Now, you saw he's working with $1 to $2 million properties. So there's a little bit of perspective there. But even there, right? In 90 days, he was able to generate $11 million in listings just from spending about 10 minutes each morning to make one of these quick unsolicited CMAs and sending it off to his clients. So if you are not a BombBomb client, this might be a little bit more difficult because not all screen recorders are the same. If you're a BombBomb client, then pay attention. I'm going to show you as easy as this is, okay? If you are not a BombBomb client, you guys actually do have an incredible access to BombBomb. You guys have a discount, and I will let your team talk to you about that. I'm not here to sell today. I'm here to give you some strategy, but you do have that resource available to you. So this is as easy as it is, okay? Look up the MLS data for that client's property, like the same way you would do a CMA. You are the expert. Know how to pull that data for them. That's your job, okay? Go to Google Earth. In a separate tab, load Google Earth, type in the address, but don't hit enter on it yet, okay? Because what you're gonna do is then you're gonna start your BombBomb screen recorder, all right? Once you start your BombBomb screen recorder, you get that 3, 2, 1, and then your screen flashes, and then it's recording what's on your screen. At that point, you're gonna go ahead and press enter into the address on Google Earth. And now what's gonna happen is the very first image that your client sees when they open up their email from you, their realtor, their trusted advisor, is they're gonna see Google Earth zooming in on their property address. If I'm a consumer and I'm getting an email from my real estate agent that I know, like, and trust, that I already have that relationship with, And I open up that email and I see them zooming in on my property address. Do you think I'm going to press play on that video to hear what they're talking about? Of course, right? And then once you have, zoomed in on the property, you're just going to start talking to them about the data. You're going to toggle over to your MLS data. You're going to walk them through the potential value of their property, and you're just going to hit send. You're not going to ask for anything. You're not going to tell them that you're going to call them to follow up. You're just going to say, here you go. I want you to know what your value is. And then you're going to pay attention to tracking, okay? Because we do tracking for you, every single thing you send to your clients, you're going to know in real time. Did they open the email? Did they watch the video? Now, what you're going to do from that point, after you've sent them off, is just keep an eye on the tracking. Did they watch that video? Did they watch the video twice? Right? This is the data that you're going to have to know who of these people you should actually be following up with and then dialing in that precious phone time that you set aside to call clients. So really, really powerful strategy. I hope you guys try this. Seriously, if you try it, if you have success, let me know. I want to know. The best part of my job is the success stories. When Jimmy tells me, hey, Alicia, I did this and I got $11 million in listings in 90 days, that fuels me. I want you guys to be successful. So I appreciate your time today. I hope that even if you already are a BombBomb client, that today maybe you were reminded and inspired about the value of your face. You are your best sales asset. People choose to work with you, not with a robot, and they chose to work with you because of who you are as a human being. And showing up in their inbox as a human being is a really, really powerful way to maintain that relationship and generate some more listings for you. That's all I got, guys.
Thank you so much. We have one quick question, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
They asked if that format that you showed is for Apple only, or if it is on Android, or if it will be soon.
On Android, I'm not understanding the question because this is desktop, not mobile.
Okay, and that might answer the question there. So if you're doing this from desktop?
Yeah, our screen recorder doesn't work on mobile. Our screen recorder only works from a laptop or computer. Yes.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much. And for everybody on the call, please head to the chat. There is a link there that you can go ahead and sign up for this BombBomb product. And of course, you can always head to Schmidt Resources if you have any questions. So thank you so much for your time. We hope you get your puppy out. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia, for that awesome presentation. Guys, I just want to show you really quickly how you can get into BombBomb, how you can sign up today. You can either go to schmidtresources.com and you can go to the BombBomb section, which you can find under video and social media, and sign up right there, or you can click the link that we're putting in the chat right now. You click that link, you sign up for the form, and you get the Schmidt family of companies deal of only $25 a month, which is half of the normal cost of BombBomb. So guys, sign up for BombBomb today. And hey, when you've shot your first video, send it my way, and let's take a look.
Well, we would like to please welcome Dan Elzer, success coach. Many of you on the call have either taken a session with him or heard him speak to our amazing ASCs and RSCs just last month. And we welcome you, Dan. I will stop sharing my screen now so that you can take over.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see y'all. Well, I can only see some of you, but it's great to see you. Hi, Tracy. I see you in the background there. I think that's Mike, Tom, and Ken, and Carrie. Okay, guys. Good morning. And Steve. I'm thrilled to I get a few minutes just to talk to you. And you guys know I talk about skills a lot. I talk about implementing and being effective. So I got a short little presentation I want to share with you today, and I'm going to share this with you. If I can get this right. There we go. There you go. And I even found your logo, Carrie. How's that?
That's fantastic.
So when I talked to Carrie came to me and said, "Hey, Dan, could you come do some stuff with us on Innovation Exchange?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Just give me a thought, give me a theme." She goes, "Well, listings are everything." And I went, "That's right. You know, listings are the name of the game." Those of you who've heard me speak, I talk about you balancing your life. You know, when this high tide goes out, those of us that don't have a balanced business of listings and buyers will suffer when that occurs. So while we have high tide, we got to get that balance in our listings. And so in doing so, I thought, how do I take this, since we're talking about innovation, and get you to really want to do BombBomb and want to use the services and the technologies? So I'm going to give you a stat that comes from National Association of Realtors. You've probably heard it before, but I want you to take note here. When we look at the listing side of the business, and National Association of Realtors talks to the people who sold their house, they always ask, what was the source of finding the agent? What was it all about? And what they found was 49% of closed listings said that they found their agent through a friend, family member, or acquaintance. 49, that's half of the listings out there came because they knew somebody. So they weren't really on the open market for agents to go after if you didn't work a sphere. Now, don't fall for the inventory myth out there. Dan, there's no inventory. I keep going, garbage. I can't talk to your company and hear that you're doing better than ever before if there isn't more listings than ever before. They're just selling very quickly. So a lot of agents fall for that listing myth going, there's no inventory out there. Well, you wouldn't be able to sell a house if there wasn't inventory. We just aren't focusing on it. Don't let the few take all the listings and make the rest of us work hard, which leads me into these next two stats. 23% of sellers that sold said they used a previous agent they had experience with. Now, this is always a scary number when 80% of people that close a deal say that they would work with their agent again, and only 23% do. And they only drop from 80 to 23, not because they stopped liking their agent, they just don't remember who they are. And that's because we're not doing our job staying in touch. So if we look at that, 49 and 23, that's 72% of listing business is accounted for by the real estate professionals who know how to stay in touch and utilize some of these tools that you're learning about today. Here's the bad news. That only leaves 28% of the listing business to be fought over by over 80% of the agents. Now, I have that number because only about 20% of agents have a consistent, purposeful sphere approach where they're doing something every month on a purposeful way to make sure that people don't forget them. The rest of us do it sometimes, and some of us do it never. So that only leaves 28% of the listings out there for people to go, hey, I'm willing to talk to someone about that. And you don't want to be in that boat. You want to be in the 72%, not the 28%. So, kind of rhetorical question here. Are you working your COI or SOI database? Now, when we talk about that, people always go, COI, SOI, what's that? Well, in my trainers in the training academy, we have this argument. Some people like to call it your circle of influence. And then other trainers go, no, a circle has an ending. And then other trainers go, no, I like to call it the sphere of influence. Whichever you want to call it, you got to work it. That's what it all boils down to. When over 70% of business is determined by what we're doing consistently, instead of just going after what's in front of us, I want to be in that 72%. So again, these are known statistical things. If you have a sphere and you will do the following things, the results are steady. Year in and year out, they get steady results out of them. So what is the proper working of your sphere? Well, a monthly contact to people that you know. And let me back up. What is a sphere? Some people don't even know that completely. So if you don't know, write this down. Your sphere is made up of your friends, family, past customers, and acquaintances. And I want you to, if you're writing this down, to circle acquaintances, because it has been proven that an acquaintance will refer or do business with you faster than a friend. Let me say that again. An acquaintance will refer or do business with you faster than a friend. People always go, no. I go, it's real simple. If you've ever had a friend call you, I had one the other day, changed jobs, got into financial services, insurance. The guy was in construction before. So now he calls me and wants to manage my money. He's my friend. I know that he was in construction. I know that he has failures in his life, but now he's asking me to let him do some financial services with me. So as a friend, I go, oh, let me think about it. But in my brain, I'm going, why would I turn over my stuff to a guy who's in construction? But an acquaintance doesn't know you. All they know is the interaction that you had with them at the moment of meeting. So if you're wearing your career apparel, if you're professional, if you're engaging, they walk away and go, that person's sharp, man. And they'll turn around and refer you to their neighbors before they refer their friend who's in the real estate business. It's been proven, it happens all the time. Build a huge sphere of acquaintances. That means they know you by face and can say hi. They don't know all your luggage and baggage from before. So we're going to mail or monthly contact them through mail or email. Now, if you're using email and you're not using BombBomb, that's a huge mistake. I think Alicia, I think that was her name, she just gave you the greatest reasons in the world to be using that. People will open something that has a video, and they'll open it again knowing you'll have a video for them. But also there's some people that like regular mail. I don't know about you, I get excited when I get a personal note in the mail. You just don't get that stuff anymore. But if I don't contact them monthly with one of these two things, with something of value, whether it's a newsletter, an update, something, I'm not following the stats. Second, live calls should be once a quarter. You have to talk to them once a quarter, and the talk track is simple. Hey, Tracy, God, what's it been? 3 months since we chatted. How have you been? I know it's been 3 months because I'm talking to her once a quarter. We get into a conversation. I ask how she's doing. And then I have to end with a couple questions. Every time I talk to her, she's going to ask me, because she's part of my sphere, hey, Dan, how's your business, or how was business? I'm always going to come back and say it's amazing. But you know, our biggest problem right now is finding those sellers. We got so many buyers, just not enough sellers. Maybe you can help me. Who do you know that's thinking of selling? And when I'm all done talking to her, I'll end it with, hey, Tracy, how about you? When is your next need for a real estate professional? And I'm done. If I do those two things with my sphere, you will get 6 to 9 closed transactions per 100 people. Actually, in my company, we tracked it. The people that did it consistently did better than 6 to 9 transactions. So I always tell people, core 300, man, you get 300 people and you do this right, that's 27 closed transactions a year from just talking to people you already know. Then go out and do the other stuff. Now, how do we do this? It is simple, folks. Leverage your company's technology and support systems. I mean, that's why they're doing this for you today. I know I sat in your chair as an agent. I was a manager. I owned a company. I know how many times I've heard a great idea to only show up next year for the event and hear the same great idea and go, God, wouldn't it have been cool if I did it? So we have to implement. We have to take these one at a time and implement. So I'm just going to give you a quick example. Moxie, CRM. You got access to that. And now you've got, well, you've always had, and BombBomb. Well, between the two of those, if I took those two tools and I used Moxie to navigate my sphere to make sure I'm touching them monthly. Also, I might come to Tracy and go, what other opportunities do we have through marketing for a touch piece that I can use? And now I make sure that those are going out. I have Moxie remind me every day, who are the 4 or 5 people I have to call? So at the end of 3 months, I've called everybody in my sphere. So I don't have to worry. I let the technology do it for me. And then if I just follow through on that, I get 6 to 9 transactions per 100 and my business grows. Now, some people that I've worked with when it comes to CRMs freak out. So I'm not a tech person. I'm an operations guy. I want you to look at your technology this way. You know, when these things come to us, they have amazing ways of converting data and putting all of our contacts in there. But we usually have, as I do, some cards sitting around and some people that haven't gotten in there. My first advice is use people that are good at typing and know databases to input your stuff. That might be your kid, that might be your grandkid, that might be someone that you know down the street. I have many clients that I've coached over the years hire a teenager to come update their database, and they get it done in hours, where it's taken that agent years. So get it updated. But the other thing that happens is we become overwhelmed. because these technologies do so much for us, we're not really sure how or what to do with them. So here's my other piece of advice for you. If you want to make your CRM, make Moxie really work for you, use it for your sphere. But when it comes to your everyday life, pick 2 or 3 of your hottest clients that you're working with. Put them into the technology and only look at those 3 people. Don't look at the 100,000 that are in it, just deal with the 3. I find when I can get an agent to put 3 hot prospects into a CRM and use 100% of the CRM's capability, they now have a desire to get everybody in it. But I find when they put everyone in it and try to use it for everyone, it's so overwhelming they don't do anything. So my advice to you there is just put a couple of your very important people in there and use the reminder features, the follow-up features, use all the features that are in there. And when you're done managing 2 or 3 people with technology and you see how easy it is, you will have a desire to make sure you get more and more people in there. But if we don't use this stuff, if we don't execute, how do we improve? How do we get better at what we do? So I want to give you some closing thoughts. And I hope that you'll take these to heart. Having owned a company that had a strong back office support system, had amazing people in our back office that supported all of our agents. And what I found is real estate agents sometimes will focus on what goes wrong instead of what goes right. So I want to be very clear to you guys. First and foremost, as a real estate professional, understand your business model. What are you trying to accomplish? Are you a buyer agent? Are you a balanced agent? Are you a listing agent? Know your business model. Know your business plan. And then I want you to look at your company as a service provider. Your company has a servant attitude for you. They have all these cool things. If you'll turn around and say, my business model needs these things, and you go to the right people, they'll be able to plug into your business model the services and technologies that will make your life easier. But when you're talking with them, don't turn a deaf ear to the challenges or limitations. Sometimes we only listen to the capabilities, we don't listen to the limitations. So whenever the limitation pops up, we go, oh, it doesn't work. I've coached you, I've been around you. I interview you and say, Tracy, what are its limitations? What do I need to make sure I don't get my hopes up to be crushed? I want to make sure that I use what it can do and not try to use it for what it doesn't do. Know its capabilities and limitations. So that way you will leverage it, not be disappointed, and stop using something that could be amazing. In my company, I always told, as your company does, I always told my team, we are a support service to these people, as if we were arm's length, as if we were a company for them. So when they come to us, we truly had the desire to make their life better, but it's a two-way street. I need the business person, the agent, to know their business model, to learn the capabilities, to know the limitations and how it plugs in to make their life better. And you guys can bring this thing together and no one will touch you. I mean, I am so blown away by the level of products and services that this organization brings to all of you, you would be wrong to not make this work. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to stop sharing. I don't know if there's any questions. I saw some chat pop up a couple times, or if you guys have any questions of me before I turn it back over.
Well, we really appreciate it, Dan. There was just some comments, and that's really the best way to start embracing technology, is just take it in little bite-sized pieces. And we have such an amazing ASC and RSC support staff here that can really help the agents locally get that done. And we were grateful that you came and spoke to our team a couple weeks ago, and it's just been amazing that the tie-in that we've had with the agents, the managers, and our staff. So we just really appreciate your time today, Dan.
Well, thank you guys so much. It's an honor to get to work with you. And again, I just think you do an amazing job. Keep up the great work, guys.
Great. Thank you so much.
Take care, guys.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys so much for continuing to stick with us here. We are going to now welcome our CEO, Ken Schmidt, our president, Mike Schmidt, our COO, Tom Gray, and our CFO, Steve Bell. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Mike, you can take it over.
Awesome. Can you hear me okay?
Mr. Ken.
Great. First of all, I want to thank Carrie and Tracy. This is really, through the entire pandemic, they've done just a fantastic job. And I truly think we're a better company because of them. So thank you to both you guys and your teams. I know you have extensive teams that are doing a great job. I want to do a quick shout out to all the regions, and then I'll pass it over to Steve Bell next. Just to kind of share with you, because we're in different spots at different times, but St. Croix, we're so jealous. It snowed here 2 days ago, okay? So you guys are just so jealous of the island and more important, the people in the island and our team. I mean, you guys are unbelievable market share, top Coldwell banker in the Caribbean, and we're just so fortunate to be a part of you. And yes, we do want to come see you, so we'll find a way to do that. Then I'm going to move on to Ohio. And Felicia and her team have just done a fantastic job growing top bank in Northeast Ohio. Over 100 agents in the last couple of years. And she's got a wonderful team that supports her too. We're so thankful. One thing I would ask Ohio is, I don't know if some of you, I'm a University of Michigan grad, just keep it to 3 touchdowns when you beat us, okay? That's my only request, is 3 touchdowns, okay? Moving on to Florida. Florida's been really fun. And between Coldwell Banker Premier that joined us back in March, Coldwell Banker Paradise just, I think, 18 months ago, and then Southwest Florida. We're now the largest Coldwell Banker affiliate in Florida with over 700 agents, 27 offices, and people are flocking to Florida. It's just, I mean, great. Again, the locations we're in, we're fortunate because they're beautiful, great communities, but more importantly, again, we just have wonderful people in those offices. So shout out to all of you. And then last but not least, where we are today in Traverse City, Michigan, and all of Michigan, I truly think that for those in Michigan know that we got shut down harder than probably anybody in the country. And I'm just so proud of the group because we came out fighting when we were able to get out of our homes and have just rocked it. I mean, Michigan has been unbelievable and continue to be just proud to be associated with all of you. So anyways, that's what I want to share with you. And I'm going to pass it over to Steve Bell, who's our Chief Financial Officer, who's been just a wonderful colleague and really great for the company and those in it.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Hopefully everybody can hear me. And I'm going to steal from Ryan Gorman just a little bit and have a bit of an election theme here. But the good news is that what I'm going to share with you, the results are in. These numbers are complete. We're not still counting. There are no politicians or lawyers involved in this presentation, and there is a definitive winner here that we're going to declare today. So hopefully this will go much better. And instead of looking at 2 candidates, we're going to look at 2 different time periods here real quick. And so to do that, I'm going to share my screen. So if somebody can maybe give me a thumbs up to make sure that that you can see that. Okay.
Yep, we got
All
you.
right. The oops, I've got I'm showing a little more information there. I was supposed to click into this, but hang on just a sec. Well, all right. Well, I was going to drop in the information kind of to build up to a crescendo here, but I guess I'll just talk my way through it. But the 2 time periods we're obviously talking about are the first 5 months of the year, which was January through May, and the amount of business that we did in terms of sides and the dollars that were paid out to our agents through commissions. And certainly not a terrible time in terms of the amount of production, and actually given the circumstances in 2 of those months, it was absolutely incredible. But we closed over 5,000 sides and paid out over $23 million in commissions to our agents during that time period. But when you fast forward or move to the second 5-month period of the year, which was June through the month that just closed of October, you can see the numbers for yourselves. For a lot of you, you may feel like, wow, it feels like the last couple months or the last 5 months, I've been working twice as hard. Well, the reason you feel that way is because that's absolutely what's been happening. If you look at the number of sides closed and then the percentage results on the side over there, as Mike just said, the state of Michigan had a very, very difficult 2-month period. These last 5 months, 111% improvement or increase in the amount of business. That's more than twice the amount of business over the same period of time. Ohio, which probably from a market perspective managed the pandemic as well as anybody, but still increased 50%. And then Florida up almost 2/3, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, again, I mean, they have to deal with hurricanes, but they also had to deal with a pandemic. There's not a whole lot to do when they shut your island down, but they've done a great job, and now they're up pretty much 2x from where they were in the first half. And then more importantly, to many of you, and hopefully you guys are feeling this, and it's great to work hard, but it's a heck of a lot more enjoyable if you see it in your wallet and feel it financially, and the dollars are even greater than the amount of sides closed. And as a company, we've paid out over twice as much in agent commissions in the second 5 months of the year compared to the first 5 months. And if you look at that, that's $50 million paid out to our agents in commissions over just 5 months. So when Ryan Gorman was talking about, wow, it's pretty incredible when you guys do 2,000 sides, and I'll say with that, whenever we can do $10 million in a month paid out in commissions, that's actually what we've averaged here the last 5 months is 2,000 sides closed a month and just over $10 million of commissions paid out. So congratulations to all of you. I just wanted to share these numbers with you guys and declare that we are the winners. And there's no doubt about that. That's not going to be contested. And congratulations to all of you.
Okay, here's a few words of wisdom. First, congratulations. It's hard to get past that because the agents have done a phenomenal job. But the best thing about that, in the infancy of this pandemic, a local reporter came to me and said, "How are you guys doing?" I said, "We've been getting ready for this for the last decade." So a day later, he called and says, "What did you mean?" I said, "Well, in the last decade, our agents, you learned to use video to sell their homes. We shifted to internet-based phone systems so we could spin on a dime. We had video conferencing in place. We were accustomed to using all these media, social media, digital marketing. We were in place, ready to go. When the pandemic came, we switched to virtual open houses that the marketing team put together within weeks. We were rolling. The best thing about that is our agents stay totally engaged. So does the leadership, so does the staff. And as everybody's seen coming out of this, you just nailed it. So as agents, congratulations, and it couldn't have been a better team. So good job.
And for me, I just want to say that we've always felt like one of the keys to success is hiring good leaders, hire people smarter than we are, which has been not that difficult. But anyway, I just can't thank everyone enough. And I want to also, again, reiterate the leadership of Steve Carr, Jason Rice, and Felicia, and everyone, every level. And first and foremost are, frankly, associates. You guys are the ones that are the feet on the floor and what the consumer sees, and you're talented, great, successful realtors. I'm extremely proud. And then I have to just close by saying one thing. In all the years that I've been in business, Dan Elzer's comments about work in your sphere and your acquaintances and friends and family, I can't think of anything more important and frankly probably simpler to do that will bring you results than that. So, but again, in closing, thank you much, everybody.
Mike, you want to wrap up?
Yeah, I mean, again, to reiterate my dad's comments, we're thankful to be part of the organization. We're thankful for all of you. And we're ready to kick butt in 2021 too. So please join us next week. We're going to do one more of these and hear from the local leadership. And have a great day. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.